Hello and welcome. I am the Suit&Tie Dip&ChewGuy, and this is the number 54 Chew review. So, as you just saw, we will be taking a look at Big Mountain, the regular product in the monstrous 1 pound bag. So, this is a product of the National Tobacco Company, let me rephrase that. This is distributed by National Tobacco. They always word everything as distributed by, all right, not made by. Stoker's is distributed by. Now, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, Stoker's, the original company, still does its own manufacturing of product, and it is distributed by National Tobacco. Stuff like this, I'm not quite sure. Now, Big Mountain, to the best of my knowledge, is only in 1 pound bags. It is meant as a budget product. All right. I do not have in front of me right now what this cost. This review and this bag is thanks to Adrian of Virginia, the new chew guy. He sent this up to me. I'll have to, if I have a receipt for this still, I will put the price in the description. So you have a 1 pound bag, all right, a mountain of taste and savings up at the top. The fact that it is a big 1 pound bag, sort of generic logo, chewing tobacco. To the best of my knowledge, and I will be finding out shortly, this is an original chew. You got the warning label. Basically the same on both sides. As for date codes, now I don't usually go over date codes on chew products, and I've never really said as to why I don't. Half the time you can't find them because they're usually pressed into the seams, and depending what the bag has gone through in shipment, transit, whatnot, sometimes the pressing isn't clear. For instance, if it's pressed into a seam, and that seam at some point in its travels is pressed again, it can almost be pressed out. So they're hard to see. But the reason I really don't go into detail about date codes for chewing tobacco is because I can tell whether the product's good from feeling the package. Is the package holding a little bit of air? Is the product pliable in the package type deal? Believe me, if you got a bad bag, which I have had on this channel, look at the first Taylor's Pride review, which I had to abort, it's going to be real obvious. Real obvious. All right? So, you got basically the same thing on both sides. All right? And then, on the bottom, underage sale prohibited, distributed by National Tobacco Company of Louisville, Kentucky. You have the barcode. And then over here, you have the leaf content. It is 29% domestic, 71% foreign. Not the greatest domestic foreign, but all chewing tobacco usually has a higher foreign count, 1, and 2, as a budget product, that is by far not the worst. And then you have questions, comments, number, sale only allowed in the United States. So, at the top of this, and I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see, they have a line to cut. I have already looked closely at the packaging and know that if I cut at that line, this bag will still be closed. So, I'm going to cut below that line with scissors because I am saving the bag. It has a Ziploc. All right, the Ziploc is right about here. All right, I'm going to go a little bit above the mountain of taste and savings. Now, the Ziploc on this bag is engaged. That said, if you get one and the product feels okay and the Ziploc's not engaged, this is not like a 3-ounce bag of Red Man, that the only thing between the chew and the outside air is the Ziploc, because this bag is completely sealed. It's got seam. This is a seam up at the top here. It's not just a bunch of glue dots, glue buttons. This is actually a seam of the bag up here that I'm going to be cutting off. So if you get something like this, any pound bag by National Tobacco, whether it be Stoker's, Big Mountain, etc., if the zip block is not engaged, that's not a big deal as long as the seam is intact at the top. All right, so I'm going to cut into this. And we'll see what we got going on in here. Okay, so that was right. There's tobacco. At some point here, the seam was not engaged. Maybe I engaged it and didn't realize it. There is tobacco in that, but considering most of these bags come with the Ziploc open, that's not really a big deal within itself. Wow. Okay. That is some liberally treated original chew right there. It is glistening. I don't know if you can see that. You know, this is where my equipment really comes up short. There is moisture sitting on the lining of the bag. The bag is of good foil paper. It's a good bag. It's a good bag, unlike some that I have come across by other companies. The product is wet, and it is very, very dark. I'm going to pull some out here. I can tell right now, I had played with the idea of not doing a pause during this video, but I'm going to have to wipe my hand off. I can just tell by looking at it. The smell is an original. It is raisiny, okay, molasses. Wow. Wow. I don't know if you can see the translucent bits. Those are not blonde highlights. That is where you can. The leaf has become so saturated that you can sort of see through it, or you can see light through it anyway. The stuff is a long cut, like long and stringy. I am not feeling, however, any secondary stem material. It's soft to the touch. I'm going to throw this in because this has me interested now. Back in a minute. Okay. How about that? This is pretty good stuff. I'm sort of surprised. I mean, I'm not as surprised as, let's say, the budget brand from Pinkerton, Big Duke, which was excellent stuff. But this is pretty darn good. It is an original chew. It is very saturated with whatever mixture they use to coat it. The flavor is pretty darn rich. I'm not going to claim that it's as rich as Red Man Original, but it's there. It's a really, really good showing for a budget product. And really, everything that I've gotten and reviewed from National Tobacco has been pretty darn good. Now, they make Stoker's. National Tobacco is one of my big five. What sets it apart from the other four companies is that it is predominantly chewing tobacco, with the exception of Stoker's Dip and the Smoker's Friendly dips, two of them. It is pretty much a company based around chewing tobacco. That's not where the money comes in from. Their money comes in from them owning the rights to Zigzag in North America. That's where their cash flow comes from. But as far as smokeless goes, they're basically completely around chewing tobacco, loose leaf to be exact. The only one that I ever had that was a little sketchy, and keeping in mind that it was a very, very low budgeted product, was the Durango. The Durango was a little bit rough around the edges, so to speak. But Not this stuff. This stuff is pretty good. And you know what? Now I'm really interested because I believe Big Mountain has a peach. And now I'm really interested to find out what that's all about. So you got a 1 pound bag. I believe this retails, in Virginia, it was retailing under $15, I believe. I could not find during the break the receipt. If I do find that at some point, I will update the description in this video. The flavor is fairly rich. The product is very moist. It is saturated with whatever they coat it with. Nicotine, it's going to be chew levels. I'm guessing as far as chews go, it is going to be probably trending low. But chew levels in general are also low, that you're not going to be able to tell the difference between them. Okay? It's a pound bag. It's a lot of it. But it packs, you can put a lot in it. It feels real big at first. It starts packing down. It's soft in the mouth. I can't see in the bag or feel any stem material. So it's free of stems as far as I can tell. It's very wet. The flavor is pretty rich, and it spits really well. It's dark stuff. I don't know. It's really dark, and it's good. It's really good. I'm pleasantly surprised. I've been looking at this over here for a little while now. I was going to do it the other week, but I decided to go with the peachy first. In the mouth, you can bite down on it a bit, too. That's the other thing. It's not drier and tougher like an American Snuff Company product, which you can really chew on. American Snuff products you can really chew on. But it's softer, and the moisture's higher, but it's still firm, and you can sort of bite down on it, too. Now, I'm sort of a park around the side and let sit guy, but you can chew on this stuff if you wanted to. So, it's a good showing. It's a good showing from them. And if you see this and you like original chew, now this is an original, so guys that don't like raisins, don't buy it. The only drawback to this is, especially for guys that don't like raisins, I believe these only come in 1 pound bags, to the best of my knowledge. I believe there were smaller sizes in the past, but anymore I believe they're only in the 1 pound bags. So make sure you at least like the type, that you at least like original chews before you went out and bought it. But it's a really good showing for a product that, I tell you the truth, I didn't really have high hopes for this. I thought it was going to be okay and passable, but I didn't think that I'd be to the point where, hey, I'm going to keep chewing this after the review. But I am. So this has been the review of Big Mountain chewing tobacco. It's an original chew. It's very moist. It's very dark. Taste is pretty darn good. Fairly rich. I've had it in now for over 10 minutes, including the break. Flavor's not going anywhere. Comfortable in the mouth. Spits really well. If you see it and it's priced right, you may want to consider picking this up. Hopefully, I will have the review of its peach version in the very near future. Anyway, I am the Suit&Tie Dip and Chew Guy. I do hope you all are well. Do take care of yourselves, and God bless.